that should work out. I just got to, I might see if I can 3D print up some legs, some long extension legs, to make it so that I actually can land with that camera still attached. But here's the Phantom 4 Advanced, all set up with the 360 camera, and I'm gonna go try it, take it for a flight. I'll tell you, I love this drone. Thinking about maybe getting the Mavic because they call that the pocket drone. That would definitely make it a lot easier to take it places because carrying this case around. So I've got some scrap materials here, plywood cutoffs that I usually keep for little projects for doing things, and this little piece right here is going to work out. I just want to squitter it off, and I've got some ideas. So what I need to do is I need to be able to create a landing pad, which you can see that that's going to work out pretty good, and width-wise it'll be mint too. It'll give me something to be able to, grab a hold of. And what I want to do is bore a large hole in the center here, and then that way I should be able to take off and land off of this pad that I create. And then I'll just put some sides on it. I'll rip this down. Well, actually, maybe I won't even have to rip it down. And then you can see it'll give plenty of room. And obviously it's going to be 3/4 higher. I think that'll work out nice. And basically what I'll do is I'll just, glue and nail them to the sides just like that. And that should be mint. I am sometimes organized. So right there, I'm going to grab that saw and let me show that to you. So that's a saw I've had since my early teens. And I am now late 40s. So it's a skill saw, 10-inch table saw. It's my portable. I use it when I don't want to drag out my big saw. Because the big saw right now is kind of a little packed in. And I'm just going to grab that. We're just doing that small little platform for the drone. So that should work out pretty mint. So let's grab that thing out of here. I'm going to go ahead and set it up on my pallet right here, just to get some elevation. Grab a cord. Usually have a cord plugged into this outlet down in there somewhere. I'll just have to follow where it goes. Plug that in. Check for power. Beautiful. So doesn't it just kind of figure? So talk about PPE and all that stuff all the time, and the ear part broke, so I went ahead and just threw some duct tape on there, and it's gonna have to be good enough for now. Does that work? My dog out. And go ahead and quickly just kind of soften the edges a little bit. See the bit that I've got in there? I'm just going to adjust that bit down, smooth it over, and basically just round all the edges, all these surfaces right here, all the way around, and that way it just has a nicer feel. And probably going overboard on this, but is what it is, right? I think I'm just do line of sight stuff so you can see where this is. When you line that up, you've got enough clearance so that bearing retainer isn't going to have a problem on that wood. So do some routing, probably. basically just smoothed out all the edges, made it nice. That way it's more comfortable to handle. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and bore a giant hole in this. And I'll do the same thing. I'll route those both front and back. And we'll get to making the legs for this thing. So now all I'm going to do is just find the center of this, and I'll show you why I'm doing that. So you just basically just go from corner to corner, bring it back just a touch so that you accommodate for the width of the pencil or pen, whatever. Line. Same thing. Corner to corner, bring it back just a touch on each corner for the width of the pencil. Draw a line. And that center right there is actually going to be the complete center of where this is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bore a hole like this. And what I want to do is I want to just now draw a line, a straight line, this way. And all that's going to do is when you look down into the hole, you'll see that that's centered. And you can see, when you look down in that hole, I don't know if you can see. Come on, camera, focus. Well, anyways, when you look down in that hole, you can see that your line is centered in that borehole where the actual attachment goes in this hole socket. I'll be using that one right there. And this is just the way I do it, works for me. So there you go. Boom. Now all you got to do again, draw your line right across, like that. On this side, draw your line right across, like that. And then now you can see this is the section that I'm going to cut out of this. Like as I'm doing the project, I'm just like thinking what's going to be the easiest way. And for me, that's going to be the easiest way. So now I've got my jigsaw, and I just got to set this up somewhere where I can cut it safely. So where I have got a hole in the bottom. So let's figure that out. So for now, what I did is I just took my table saw extension for the material, and I just extended it out, and that'll work for putting this piece of wood on there. So let's get it cut. Screw that down and in. Lock it into its hole. Get so used to using the keyless chuck. So that should work. So just don't forget to clamp your piece down so it doesn't go anywhere when you're trying to do stuff. Just grab my jigsaw the rest. Make sure your feet aren't in the way. That works. I'm just going to take a router the middles. So now, do this. Perfect. Nice. Like it. Got a nice little rounded edge now. Camera can kind of slide right out of there. Drone can go right on. This is working out pretty good. you just take your piece, line it up. Let's see what the length is on here. So zero it out, 8 inches. So 8-inch piece. And because we're doing ground contact, I'm going to use pressure treated. Just kidding. It's kind of like a joke, ground contact, because this technically is going to be touching the ground. But this is just a spare piece of lumber that I had left over from a project, and might as well get rid of it. Can't burn it. Might as well use it for ground contact for the drone pad with the 360 camera. So now, because this was for a deck, you can see that the edges are rounded, and what I want to do is I actually want to get rid of one of these round edges because I'm going to screw and glue or nail and glue it down, and I want to have maximum contact, and plus it'll kind of look good. And then this bottom here is already rounded, so that's fine, and all I'll be doing is just rounding my 2 edges that I'll end up with after I cut it. So let's get it cut. Because we know that the piece was 8 inches, I want to have a 1/2 inch inset on each side. So I'm just going to set the saw guide to 7, and then use my slide, whatever the heck that is, right there, and just slide the piece through. Here's my pieces, and then because, like, you know, the camera lens is messed up. Sawdust and stuff all over it. So, kind of like, because now my head is just thinking I've got all the tools out, I want to do something with this just to make it super snazzy. Make it look mint. And what that's going to do is, I'm just going to take this hole boring bit, and I'm basically going to drill right through. And what that's going to do is kind of give it like that 4-leg look, just to kind of give it a little bit of flair. Maybe I might even, you know what? That would probably be too much. Because if I did that, then that... I don't know, you know what? I think I'm going to go for it. I mean, it can't hurt, right? And plus, it'll look mint. Get the piece all set up now. And all I'm going to do is basically just take my bit, put it to the edge, like right there. Make sure it's pretty centered. Take the piece, now turn it around so I can grab these edges. Flare. Again, go for the center, somewhere around there. I like that. It's like a whole bunch of work for nothing, kind of. I don't know. It's not for nothing, I don't know. Like I said, I've already got the tools out. Might as well go ahead and just do something with them, you know? Take that block out. See, that piece is stuck in there nice. See, that piece is stuck in there. Spin it out. There we go, now it's out. Screw it back on. Slip the pins in. Put it in there about the center. So that's what the piece looks like. So you'll see what I'm talking about. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my router and basically just route all these edges. Again, it's just, you know, taking a bunch of time and whatever. Before we set that up, why don't we drill out the other one. I'm just going to take the router, leave it all in the same settings that it was still at, and then route all the way around. You'll see what I'm talking about. See, that's all it's doing is it just rounds out the edges, makes it look nice, you know? That's all it was for. Just to round all my edges, make things look nice. You know, it's just, why not, you know? Glue right on this section right here. Tip that piece up. And then same thing there. And then nail it on, or, you know, I could even, if I want to go crazy, I could actually, you know what? If I could go crazy. So, maybe what I'll do is I'll drill through right there. I'll drill through right in the center right there. And it'll be attached from the back. And that way it's a hidden fastener. I think we're going to go that route because, you know what? That would look mint.
Pretty cool. Never been installed on a car. It's mint. Mint. It's mint, I say.
So what I decided I'm going to do is I'm going to pilot hole with a much smaller drill bit. And I'm just going to flip it into position like this. Just keeping in mind that, you know, I want to place that over a hole. And then just basically, you know, have the drill at an angle and just drill it right through the center and use these Cortex for the rot-free wood, for the PVC. Just use these, and it does two things. So what these do is they obviously screw down, and then they have a reverse, which actually tightens up the material to what it's screwing into. So this is going to work out pretty mint. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to punch a hole or punch a guide right here. That way I've got a way for that drill bit to not walk all over the place. While I'm at it. So basically all I want to do now is I want to apply a bead of glue along this edge and then set that down on the bottom, and then basically just line it up so that, you know, it's fairly even left to right, and then I've got a place to, you know, put my fingers here to go ahead and pick it up so that it's comfortable. I'm just doing this by eye. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. The only other thing that I want to do is I want to just set my router up like this, set it up like a routing table. I just want to smooth over those little points right there, and this should work. Again, I mean, you could just take sandpaper and do it, but I already have the tool out, so why not? Now what you can see is I just want to take this piece, and now I want to glue it down to that right there. And just want to basically centerize it left to right so it has an even gap, and then enough finger space, you know, right there so that I can grab it comfortably without any issue. And right there's fine. I'll lay it down. Get my glue. Put a bead of glue just like that. Tip it up. Make sure it's still pretty much in that spot. Looks fairly centered. Plenty of room right there. And just take my clamp and just clamp it down so it doesn't move. And don't worry about the glue squirting out. It's kind of supposed to happen. Go ahead and take my gun. I'm going to weight down that other side just for a second. Just get one of these bits. Put it in. And then obviously make sure it's in drill, because it automatically sets. Boom. In. Perfect. Grab another one. Go to the other side. Perfect. Clamp off. Take a paper towel or sweat-soaked rag. Let's clean off the extra glue. Both sides all the way around. I mean, you don't have to, but just make it look nice. Again, this is like way overkill for what this is, but I mean, why not, you know? So then the same thing, put that in position, pretty much where the other one was. I'm not going for craziness here. Tip it down. Do a bead of glue. Just like that, maybe a little bit more. Tip it up. Get your clamp out. Make sure it's pretty aligned. It is. Make sure it looks mint. Clamp it down so it doesn't go anywhere. Put my weight back in place just to keep it lined up. And just go ahead and grab my screws, my gun. Squeezing a lot of glue out, but that's okay. That one. The other side. Done. Boom. And it's funny, it's almost like I just made a footstool. Then, again, take your sweat-soaked paper towel, clean off your glue, make sure you don't reuse the same side that you just used last time, that way you're wiping glue all over your face. Just wipe off your glue, and done. Look at that. So I made a step stool. When in reality, it's actually not a step stool, but you could use it as a step stool. But here we go. Just a nice, easy little drone pad that I'm making for when I have my 360 camera on my drone. And we're going to try it out right now, because why not, right? So in a way, I think one of the best things, or best parts about this little thing that I made, which technically it actually, let me see if I can get it, better look at it. All right, so I mean, this looks like a step stool. I just threw it together with scrap materials that I had, and you just kind of, you know, it's really simple what I just did. I mean, I'm using basic tools in a sense, just to go ahead. Well, maybe having a router is not a basic tool, but for somebody that does, you know, the type of stuff I do, woodworking, carpentry, automotive, you know, body work, just literally everything. Just look around my garage. I do it all. You know what I mean? So it is a disaster in here, but it's that whole thing that, you know, I'm trying to organize myself away from the disaster, but I keep adding stuff to the pile. That was just a quick little driveway disaster for today, and it was just making this. Technically, what I made it for was, I actually made it for my drone to do 360s with the 360 camera attached to the bottom. It's actually going to go right into that hole right there, and that's it. Thanks for watching this episode of What's Up Guy Garage. I don't even know what I'm going to name this. It might even be like 2 parts. making a step stool / drone 360 camera platform. Look at that. I actually landed it on the footstool / drone 360 camera takeoff pad. That actually worked out pretty cool. So, yeah. Now all we have to do is just download all the footage. But look at that. I mean, it's not even landed perfect, but, I mean, that's not too bad. That right there, that's what you call mint.
Hey, you can see me right there.
That's my organization collapsing in my garage. Like, my mind is just always just all over the place. Well, how about if I plug it in first? Mint. 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 Mint.
If you ever watch What's Up Guy Garage, he likes to use the word mint for something that's really cool.
Mint.